श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे बहुरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणासेवितं कपिध्वजं भूपरसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासम् अष्टनप्तहरं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुपदातं तुभोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मदेवासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Last time we were looking at Pativrata Mahatma, so we shall see what happens after that. So Janameja, who was listening to this story from Vaishampayana, listening to all the events of Mahabharata, he asks, what did Yudhishthira, who was always concerned about Karna, what did he do? Because he heard from Lomasa about this Karna and all things. So what did he do? Because he was always worried about uh, Karna and the Arjuna facing each other and what might happen in that. So how Yudhishthira was worried about that and what did he do? And then Vaishampayana narrates that while Pandavas spent 12 years of their exile and 13th year was in, at that time, Indra he's always friendly to Pandavas, and he decided to beg Karna's earring and the armor he had, the celestial armor he had, beg that as a gift from Karna. So realizing this, what Surya, who is the father of Karna, what he does is he goes in the form of a brahmana one day when Karna was in his sleep. He goes to Karna and tells him that, listen to the words I'm going to tell you. I'm telling you because of affection I have for you. Indra is going to come and ask your earrings and the armor you got, the kavacha you have. He's going to come and ask you as a gift. And so when he comes in that form, try to convince him saying all the other things. Try to tell him that whatever you can tell him from all the shastras and everything you know, try to give him anything else, whether it is jewelry, other jewelry, gems, women, cattle, whatever he wants, cows and whatever he wants, try to give those things, but don't give him the earrings and the kavacha you have, armor you have, because this is come from both of these have come from ornaments have come from Amrita itself, and as long as you have that, your life is not in danger. Hearing this, Karna was sleeping, and in his dream, he says that, who are you? You are showing me so much kindness to me. Who are you? Why you have come in the like a brahmana here? And that brahmana then says that I am Surya. I come here to tell you all this. And listening to this, Karna says that surely it is my fortunate that I'm very fortunate that you have come here to tell me all this. But listen to what I'm going to tell. Even it may not be what you are asking me to do. Listen to what I'm going to tell, because if anyone comes asking for something, I will give. So I will not say no, because if you remember previously, when Karna made a vow that whoever comes to him after his daily prayers and things, if someone comes and asks him, he's going to give that. Whoever Brahmana comes and asks him, he's going to give whatever they ask him. So Karna says that fame is important, and with fame, that's the one that it gives the fame. It gives the with that fame, one survives in this world, as well as it is the one that's going to take in excellent positions in the next world as well. And that's why it is even if someone asks for my life itself, I'm ready to give that for fame. So I have acquired this status that I'm going to give everything, and I have made this vow that I'm going to give everything if someone asks, and I'm not going to diminish that fame just by declining to Indra if he comes and asks my earrings and armor. So he tries to say that again, if Indra comes in the form of a brahmana, that itself is a great thing for me, that Indra has come begging something from me. So that's why that fame itself is more than my life itself. That's why I'm not going to listen to whatever you say. But Surya says, don't do that. You this is this is this is this is the one that's going to protect you, and this armor and earring is the one that's going to protect you from whatever that's going to come in future. So don't do this. So father, mother, son, and the relatives, those are the only ones, and all the wealth and all these things. It's only good if you are alive. If you are not alive, if you are dead and turned into ashes, what is the use of all this wealth and everything else if you can't enjoy this? So be careful what you are going to do. So don't do this. And I have come here. There is a strong reason for me coming here. There is a huge mystery behind why I have come here. And there are a lot of things that we devatas know, which I can't tell you. But I have come here to warn you of what might happen if you give that. So he warns that and says that if Indra comes here, he will ask for it because he is going to favor Arjuna. And if you don't give this earring and armor, then Arjuna will not be able to defeat you in the battle. So he says that, so that's why don't give that. You should never give that. Karna again says that you know that I worship you every day, and after worshiping you, I will give whatever that's, if someone asks, I will give away. So my wife, sons, whatever it is, friends, nothing comes more than worshiping you. And I will follow that vow that I made, that I will give away, I will do that. So if, as you said, if Arjuna, he is going to face me and he is going to defeat me, still I have enough strength to defeat Arjuna, and I have great weapons obtained from Parashurama, Drona. I have obtained those weapons through which I can defeat Arjuna with whatever strength he has got. Then Surya, listening to this, if you are going to give away this your earring to Indra, then it is going to be very difficult for you to face Arjuna, and Arjuna could kill you. But do one thing. If you are going to give something to Arjuna, sorry, Indra, then ask something in return from Indra. Ask for a weapon that is you can use against your enemies in the battle. So ask something that from Indra in return. So having said this, that brahmana, Surya in the form of a brahmana, he disappears then and there, and Karna waking up from his sleep and realizing what all has happened. Is it really like this? And he starts thinking like that. Next day, he goes to morning, he does his prayers, and looking at Surya, he says that I have heard all these things from you yesterday night. Is this, and then at that time, Surya says, it is what you heard is right, and remember to what I said. So then, listening to this, Janamejaya asks, so what is that secret Surya was talking about, which only Devatas know, and what is that secret? And Vaishampayana narrates that previously in the Kunti Bhoja, where the king Kunti Bhoja, before him, a Brahmana came, and we had this story briefly in Adi Parva when we were talking about Kunti, Pandavas, and Karna's birth and everything else. We heard this story, but here it goes into a little bit more into details of that circumstances that took place and the details of the events that took place. So if we come across this story once again in Mahabharata, so there is about 3-4 times this story is narrated, but each time looks from a different angle and a little bit more in detail, and from a different person's perspective. So here Kunti Bhoja, a Brahmana comes, and that Brahmana comes there and says, I'm going to stay here, make all the arrangements for me to stay, and make sure that uh, uh, everything is in order. And Kunti Bhoja worships that Brahmana. It's actually Durvasa who's coming there, worships that Brahmana, and then I will do everything. And then he asks his daughter, Prita. So he asks her, saying that you bear excellent character, you are observant of woes, and you're chaste, you're subdued, you're controlling your senses and everything else. So you attend this Brahmana and do serve him. And Kunti Bhoja also instructs that his daughter that this Brahmana is going to be living in our house. I have accepted his proposal, saying I will do whatever he is asking. So it is therefore you do in such a way that you do not disappoint him. Brahmana is very much possessed of a lot of merit from his penances and study of Vedas. So let him be cheerful, make him happy. And the Brahmana is again, Kunti Bhoja says that he is the uh, Brahmana is full of energy, and he should be worshipped, and he should be respected. Virtuous practices of Brahmana always shines in like sun shines in heaven. So you should always respect him. If we don't do that, and if we disregard Brahmanas, even very strong like Asura Vatapi, Talajanga, and they all destroyed by Brahmana. We already learned about Vatapi's story in Vana Parva earlier when we were talking about Agastya, right? So he instructs, Kunti Bhoja instructs that look after this Brahmana very much, and your behavior is very good. So you are already controlling your senses and you're not angry and things like that. He also says that you are a girl adopted by me. You are born in the Vrishni's race, and your father, your daughter of Sura. So, and your father, and you're also sister of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva's son is Krishna, right? So that's why. So that's why Krishna says Prata Kunti as his aunt. So Vasudeva is your brother, but your father had promised me that his firstborn child he will give to me, and when you're born, he gladly gave it you to me, and since then I'm looking after you. You are born in a very high race, a very respectful race, and you joined also a very respectful race. You were brought up in a very respectful race, just like a lotus moving from one lake to another. You moved from one house to another house, but you maintained that great character and qualities that's there. So that's why renouncing your pride, your urgency, your self-importance, all these things, renouncing, giving up all those things, being humble, being careful, and not thinking about yourself, thinking about that Brahmana, worship him, wait for him, do everything he says, and you will attain the great things. So Kunti Bhoja gives this instruction to his daughter, and listening to this, Prita, Kunti says that I will do as you say. Again, serving the Brahmanas, observing all your commands is what I consider as highly profitable to me, highly good for me. I will do as you say. Again, I know that Brahmanas are virtuous, and they are, if they are happy, they can even grant you moksha. So, and if they are displeased, they are capable of bringing down the destruction of the offender and entire generation of that offender. So that's why it should be, I will do everything. And I know that if Brahmanas become angry like Chavana did in consequence of act of Sukanya, so even kings, strong kings will suffer. Again, we heard about Chavana Sukanya's story previously in Vanaparva. So Chavana cursing Sukanya's father. Yeah, we learned about Chavana's story previously in Vanaparva, where he cursed and he stopped he prevented all his army, Sukanya's father's army, and suffered and things like that. So we learned about that. So Kunti again says that I will do this, everything you say. So Kunti Puja then introduces Kunti to his brahmana, saying that this daughter is brought up in luxury, even if by mistake, if she does something uh, transgresses, she does not do what you expected her to do, please forgive her, because brahmanas never get angry with the old men, children, and other rishi munis and things like that, who even if they transgress frequently, they will not get angry. So please forgive. The worship, that's why that's offered to uh, best of one's ability, should be.
You're on mute.
So Kunti Kunti Bhoja gives Kunti to that Brahmana, and Kunti serves that Brahmana very much of all the time. Whatever he asks her to do, she does everything very happily. She does. She doesn't get angry, or she doesn't get upset that he's irritating and things like that. She doesn't feel anything like that. She always with happy, smiling, she does everything he asks her to do. Sometimes he says, I will come back in the morning, but he comes in the middle of the night and wakes. Even then, she waits for him and does whatever he asks him. Sometimes he says, I want food immediately, and she serves the food. So all the things he does, he asks her to do, she does everything pleasingly. And finally, that Brahmana says, Kunti Bhoja every day used to check with Kunti, saying that, are you doing well? And she says, yes, I'm doing very well with him, and I'm looking after to my best of efforts. And finally, that Brahmana, before he leaves, he says that I'm very pleased with you. Ask me a boon. And Kunti says that everything I have done for you and my father is just as I did as my duty. So I did not do anything to ask. So I consider that serving you itself is a boon for me. And then the Brahmana says that if you do not ask for a boon, take this mantra from me. And by invoking this mantra, chanting this mantra, you can invoke any devata you want. So anybody you want, you can invoke them. So they will appear and they will be under your power. They will do as you please. So they will become your slaves. So saying this, that Brahmana gives that other mantra to Kunti, and then he leaves that place, Kunti Bhoja's place. He leaves. After Brahmana has gone some time, so Kunti was remembering this mantra, and she was still young and thinking what this mantra could do, and in her mind always thinking, is it really going to work, or is it just Brahmana gave me something? And she wanted to test that mantra. So one day she was from her room bed, she was looking outside, and she sees in the morning sun rising, and Surya was bright and shining and just coming up in all his glorious colors. She looks at and thinks that how nice it would be if Surya comes here. uh, and thinking like that, she chants that mantra, saying that I want to test if really the mantra really works. And immediately, Surya, in his form, physical form, he comes in front of Kunti and says that by the power of your mantras, I am now going to do whatever you wished. So I am with you. Tell me, what you want. And Kunti says that you go back to wherever you have come. I just was very curious. So forgive me for that. That's why I chanted this mantra. Please go back to where you come. Surya says that the mantra is just it cannot be chanted and it won't go useless. So you have asked me to come here with a wish of something. So you will have a son because of me, and you will have that son from me today. And for your fault, you will have this son, and that son will be very strong, and he will be uh, born with special things, celestial arm and earrings and things like that. He will be born like that. Kunti says that, please forgive me. I am still a young girl and not married. So my father has to give away me, so it is not, I cannot have children and have children with anybody or anything. So please don't go. And Surya again says that, insists that this has been done. You have chanted the mantra. Surely you will have this son, and because of that, you will have attain happiness because of that. And this mantra, invoking the mantra, will never go for waste. If you don't do it, the brahmana who gave you the mantra, your father and you, all of will have to face the consequences. So, listening to this, Kunti again tries to tell him that she's not ready, but Surya says that it is it because she has invoked the mantra, it has to happen. So then your father, again, she says she is worried about her father and mother and everybody bringing ill fame to the family and things like that, having children, child son before her wedding. Surya says that this will not harm anybody, and you will remain as a kanya, you will remain as a maiden. So you will not, because of this childbirth, you will not get any disreputation. So saying this, Kunti says that if that's the case, if I have to obtain a son, then let him be born with earrings like you have and the armor like you have, like kavacha you have, like that he will be, let him be of great strength. And Surya says that he will have that. He will have these earrings born, created by Amrita. Aditi herself gave this to me, and he will have that. That son will have this. So, saying this, Kunti says, "So wait." And then Surya, through yoga power, he enters into Kunti's stomach and places himself, a portion of himself, in Kunti's stomach, and then leaves from there. And immediately, Kunti, after that, conceiving a child, she spends her entire her time for the next 10 months in her apartment alone. Only a nurse was aware of her condition, her situation, her pregnancy, and nobody was aware. And after the end of 10 months, a son was born to her, and she brought forth that son looking exactly like Surya himself, with earrings and kavacha and everything, uh, looking very bright. That son was born, and immediately after that son was born, she puts that son in a box, made of smooth box, made with fully covered with wax and things like that, so it is waterproof and things like that. And she leaves all the special things in it, and then takes that son and the basket to river Ashwa, on the banks of river Ashwa. There she cries for that son, even though she is aware that she is still a unmarried girl, and she has this child. She is very fond of that child already, and she cries, saying that, and prays to all the devatas, saying that protect him. She prays to Varuna to protect him in this river, and asks Surya to protect him, and all the other devatas, Adyas, Vasus, Rudras, Adyas, Vishudevas, Marutas, everybody. She asks them to protect and blesses that child, and then pushes that son in the river. So that son then, that basket carrying that child from river Ashwa, it goes to river Charmanvati. From there it goes to Yamuna. From there it goes to Ganga. So Ganga river carries that basket all along, and there it comes to a city called Champa, which is ruled by a Suta tribal people. And there it comes, and there this boy in the basket was still floating. So there it comes across a Suta. Suta is actually the person who do the charioteer. Okay, so the born of Kshatriya and Brahmana. So the person Suta, called Adhirata, he is a friend of Dhritarashtra. He comes across that box, and there he sees that box. He was with his wife called Radha, and they were very good conduct and virtuous people, but they didn't have any children of their own. And they come across this floating box in the river Ganga, and then curiously they look at and they see this small child inside that, shining like Surya himself. And looking at that, So they take that child and they name him Vasusena, and he later on became known as also known as Vrisha. So that son grows and he became in the he went to Drona to learn all the weapons, and then there he contacted friendship with Duryodhana, and then he went to learned all the weapons from Drona, Krupacharya, Parashurama, and everything, became the very strong bowman. So he also made friendship with Dhritarashtra's son, as we know, and then along the way he came across Arjuna and became enemy of Arjuna, or he started challenging Arjuna in the battle. So that's how it started. And seeing him in that situation, Yudhishthira thought he cannot be killed or he cannot be defeated, and that's what worrying Arjuna. So Karna, like this, what has grown up, and is we all know the rest of the story of Karna. What as he was praying Surya in the morning, after doing all his prayers and things like that, he comes off the water. There, a brahmana comes and he says, "Give me." And at that time, Karna says that, "What do you want?" And the brahmana says, uh, I want the Brahmana, he Karna says, "What do you want? Is it a gold necklace you want? Beautiful girls or a lot of cows? What do you want?" And the Brahmana says, "I don't want any of that. I want your earrings and your armor." And listening to this, Karna says that, "I will give you a home, I will give you a lot of cows, I will give you a lot of land, but not this earring. Ask me any of those things." But that Brahmana says, I don't want any of that. Give me your earring and your mail. That's what I want. Uh, so listening to this, Karna realizes that it is Indra himself, and Karna says that, "I know that you are Indra. I have recognized you. So then if uh, I give you this, I am going to give you what you are asking, but if I give you this, you are going to be talked badly by the entire world of taking away these things from me. So that's why give me something in exchange. So I don't want you to suffer of bad name, bad fame because of taking this away from me. So I want you to give me something in return." So then Indra says, "What do you want?" And he asks for a weapon which will baffle any enemy that's coming in front of him. Karnas, when he releases that, and Surya says that, "I will give you this weapon, which I have used many times in the battles with all the Daityas and everybody. This will kill whoever enemy you release it against, but after once you used it, this weapon will come back to me. So you can release it effectively only once." Karna says that that's fine. I want to release it only once. And thinking about Arjuna, he says that, "I want to release it only once." And Indra says that the person you want to release against, that person is protected by Narayana himself. So you are not going to be successful. But Karna says, "Even then, give me that weapon. I will give away my earrings and things." And saying this, Karna cuts. So uh, uh, Indra gives that weapon, saying, uh, if if you are in anger, release this weapon at somebody, or if you are when your life is not in very danger, or in those situations, if you release this weapon, it will fail. But when your life is in danger and when you're calm in your mind, if you release this weapon, it will achieve its things. And then Karna says that, "So be it." And he takes that weapon called Vasavi weapon, and he takes that from Indra. After that, Karna cuts across his earrings and his armor from his body, and he gives that to Indra, and Indra also blesses him that the wound and whatever that came out and the scars that happened in his body because of that will all disappear, and he blesses him with a healthy looking body and no wounds or scars or anything like that. So Karna gives away like that, and because of this gift that he made to Indra, this Vasusena or Vrisha became known as Karna. So that's why he became known as Karna. Indra taking that from Karna, he returns, and Kauravas, including Dhritarashtra, hearing that Karna has lost this thing, earring and things, they became very uh, sad because of that, distressed because of that. But on the other hand, Pandavas, hearing that Karna has given away his armor and protector things, special things, they became filled with very joyful, very much joy. So that's how Vaishampana narrates the Karna's gift to Indra. Then the story continues. Janamejaya asks that our wife has been, Draupadi was abducted by Jayadratha. After that, Pandavas, what did they do? So Vaishampana narrates that they spent a lot of time in that Dvaitavana, roaming around there here, and Krishna, Draupadi also was there. They were living on the fruits and practicing rigid vows, looking after the brahmanas and things like that. So they were living in that uh, Dvaitavana. At that time, once they were uh, living in that place, a brahmana comes there and he says that his two sticks used for making the fire and churning the stuff that were taken away by a deer. So he was in the morning when he was sacrificing, he was preparing for his sacrifice. A deer came and took those things, and that deer went in that direction. He says that please go and rescue those things sticks. Without that, I can't continue with my sacrifice. And he begs, he comes to and tells that to Yudhishthira, this is what happened. Come and help me with those things. And Yudhishthira, with his brothers, then immediately assure that Brahmana that we will get that back from the deer, and they start chasing that deer, and deer goes for a long time distance, and these five Pandavas, they chase after that with, they release many arrows, but suddenly that disappears, and then after a while it comes back again. So like this, they chased for quite long time, and then finally they became very tired and they could not see the deer anywhere, and they sat down under a banyan tree. And then Yudhishthira and the four Pandavas, they became very depressed because they kept saying that, I don't know what sin we have committed. That's why we could not fulfill this promise we made to the Brahmana. How can we go back and show our face to Brahmana? And Bhima says that it's definitely because I did not punish that Pratikramin who, when he dragged Draupadi in that assembly. Arjuna also says that I did not punish Karna when he uttered those harsh words on Draupadi. That's why this is what happening. Sahadeva says that I did not punish Shakuni for his things. That's why this is what happened. While they were thinking like that, Yudhishthira says, Nakula, go and see if there is any water nearby. And Nakula climbs up and says, I can see cranes flying little distance from here. And Yudhishthira says, go and fetch some water. We all need very thirsty. So Nakula, with that, he goes there and he sees water. He was about to drink and he hears a voice saying that do not drink this water. This water belongs to me. Don't drink. Nakula, however, was very thirsty. He drinks that water and immediately drops dead. Little while later, Yudhishthira says to Sahadeva, go and see what happened because the Nakula hasn't come back. So Sahadeva goes there. He sees Nakula dead and he was very thirsty, wanted to drink water, and he hears the same voice, and then same thing happens. So Yudhishthira then tells Arjuna that you go and see what happened. And because these two haven't come, you go and see what happened. So what happens after Arjuna goes there, we will see that next time. Any questions today? Had some hiccups, technology.